Okay, so time to talk a little bit about Coyote batteries here with Tony Tang from the team. Tony, TITC is very demanding, not only for speed controllers and motors, but also it's super important to choose the perfect battery. What can you tell us about the batteries the team drivers and all the customers are using here on the track?
Yeah, I would see for this event, we brought 3 different types of batteries. We have this 7000, we have the 6800, and we also have a 6300. Okay, for most of the non-boost and even for open boost guys, they choose to use the 7000 because it has a very flat discharge curve. That means the battery voltage will stay for a very long period, then they will drop. Okay, but some drivers prefer to use the 6800 because they think that the battery. Okay, let me open it up.
Yeah, it's maybe a little bit flatter, and some drivers stay more chasing the lowest CG in the car. This is, yeah, small difference, but sometimes you can feel it.
As you can see here, it's a little bit shorter. Let's see. Okay, this one's a little bit taller, obviously. So some drivers feel like with this battery pack, the car feels more nimble, feels it can turn in a little bit better, and it's more balanced from left to right. And this one is a little bit too heavy, so it carries more inertia from one side, so the car might be a little bit imbalanced. And I think for the mod guys, they are racing the 6300 because the car already has a lot of speed just from the motor. The modified motor is crazy nowadays, right? So they don't really care about the capacity of the batteries or if it's really gonna drop. Yes, it will dump, but that's at the very last, maybe the last 30 seconds or 45 seconds, so they can stand with that.
Yeah, especially when you talk about the modified and the open brushless drivers, it's also important to check the weight of the battery because they have to sometimes add additional weights around the battery side of the car. What can you tell us about the weight difference? I mean, there is not that big gap between these 2 packs.
No, not really. Actually, those 2 batteries are very close to each other. I think they are weight about 260 grams. Our battery is lighter with the same capacity. So it is easier actually for the drivers to stay within the minimum weight section for the regulation.
Yeah, and so it's also important for many customers at home to know when you buy a new battery, what do you recommend them? How many amps for charging? Should they kind of discharge and cycle the battery before the first use, or can they just charge and drive it?
Okay, that's actually a very technical question now. Okay, so here we have a meter. Okay, this is internal resistance checker. So what we can do is we can put in the lids, and it will show you the voltage and the internal resistance. Okay. Sometimes we use the internal resistance as a reference to judge if the battery is good or bad. And another way to judge the battery is to use its the capacity of the battery. So what we do is we get a new battery, then we kind of charge it to 40 capacity, and then we discharge with like 35 to 40 amps until it hits 3.2 volt per cell. We read the numbers. So the cells that can output most of the capacity, we think it's a better battery.
Okay, so this is a good way to check also for customers at home.
Yes.
But if you just kind of more the hobby driver guy and you buy a Coyote battery, you just can enjoy it, just charge it up and have some fun on the track as well.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you stay with the rules, like for storage, normally after the use, you're gonna discharge or charge it to 3.8 volt for storage. Otherwise, it might go bad, it might puff a little bit, but normally we don't have any problem with that. And if you wanted to have a longer life for the batteries, you better use a little bit lower charge current. Let's see, 15 to 20 amps. If it's really urgent, maybe 30. But here, in a big race like that, people can go crazy with like 40 amps of the charge current.
But it should be also fine if you have a basic charger at home and you set it to maybe 8 or 10 amps. You just charge a battery at a practice day and it should be also fine.
No problem, no problem. But here, for racing situations, the game we are playing is actually we wanted to lower the internal resistance. So the internal resistance is actually related to the temperature of the core of the battery. So you can heat it up with external heat source, but sometimes it takes a long time because, and also it's dangerous, right? Yeah. So what we do is we charge it with a higher current, and even we do a discharge before the charging process, so we can have a longer charging period, so that will also heat up the battery internally. We recommend that you heat the track with the battery temperature at about 35 degrees internally. It's difficult to control, but this is a recommendation. So I would say you don't pre-charge the batteries before the race. Normally, what we do is just go to the schedule, check when you're gonna hit the track, and then recalculate how long you need to charge the battery. And we wanted to use the freshly charged pack right before you hit the track.
So it means you will not charge it completely with still 1 hour to wait for the race.
Exactly. You don't wait that long. If you wait, then the internal will cool down and the battery has no punch. And also, I think that the second time when you use the battery every day, the second cycle it has more punch. Okay. Because you have to wake it up. You kind of have to reactive the materials, the chemicals, in order to be in a good condition. So it will give you more power.
Okay, so a very nice insight about all the important things about battery management, choosing the right battery, charging, discharging. Very, very important for everybody at home. If you're using Cayote batteries, just use some of these tips to extract the best possible performance from your batteries. Thank you, Tony. And now back to racing.
Yes, of course. Let's go.